They'll tell us here in a second, but... Ooh. Oh, man, this crib. This was... Oh, they got the bubbles in there. Oh, that sick bastard. Oh, man. Alright, looks like we're live now. Hey, everybody. Steve Mayne here. How y'all doing? Although, if you were here yesterday for the end, then you know how this is. This was not a fun image to go. They've got the bulbs. Why would you have the bath stuff in there? That whale. Oh, that was awful. But we are playing What Remains of Edith Finch. We're going to playing is kind of a. I mean, this is more of experiencing the story through its own disregard for my own sanity, but yeah. But yeah, let's see what goes on here. Let's climb wall again. Despite being 22 weeks pregnant, I almost said months. 22 months pregnant would be a rough gig. I can't imagine 22 weeks being a guy, so I'm not even going to try and comment on that. But I can imagine, I think 22 months of pregnancy, just straight, would just be really impossibly difficult to deal with all the time. Alright. Oh, here it is.
Religion was another thing my mom never talked about, but I think it helped her a lot after her dad died.
Yeah, I could see that. It helps people. There are people that sort of thing helps. Oh, I thought for sure we'd get another journal. I guess that was my own mistake since... So how do we move forward here? I don't want to go back to the climbing wall. What is
I can't imagine my mom ever writing poetry, and yet...
A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea. Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard.
Oh, it's a kite. Oh, that's so cool.
My father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart. I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her, "We don't need a stepmom," were the words that I remember.
Now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride.
Oh, no. This is so cool, God. Oh, I am so sorry I haven't played this game before now. Here's the rest of the poem. Aha.
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined, and as a sign held up his middle finger.
Oh, that's gonna not go over well. I'm very bad at guiding a kite. Oh, there we are.
The wind picked up, and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent.
Oh, I can go all the way around. That's cool. Am I aiming for the tent? Oh, there.
The rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made.
This is an impressive kite.
The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. But all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder."
Oh, this is amazing.
I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea, and foam. But I didn't, until we found you.
Oh, wow.
She never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
Imagine he got pierced by something, which is awful, as awful things go. Alright, well, hang on. That wasn't lit up before, so we've done that one, we've done this one. Maybe now we go up the stairs, up the climbing wall. I'm going to go up this thing so many times, it's going to be ridiculous, aren't I? But then I get to use the fire pole to get down, and that's awesome!
My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. Louis was born a year later.
Can I go down? No, stairs are missing.
When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go. I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back. And to see kids in the house again.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God, it's just so... The ever-present dust. You know, like, just... done. I don't know. Some are doing okay, but not so much. Just everything about the story, the atmosphere, the way they...
bigger, but Edie was used to that.
Okay, we're now on the... This part of the house was built by crazy people. Who have only a vague understanding of structural stability.
Things were good. Almost normal.
Oh my God. Our family history factors. Oh wow, they did, clearly did homeschooling. It's more books, but they're getting more organized now. I see as a kid this would have been an amazing observation, question, result. Oh, yeah. This would have been an amazing house to live in, but at the same time, my good Lord.
The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle.
There's more stairs up. Let's see what we can do with Milton's. Can't go in that way. Uh-huh. So Milton disappeared, so we don't know if he's... Don't like to paint. The magic paintbrush.
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush.
Oh, there we go. Oh. I shouldn't do it all the way to the end. It's a flip book of a flip book of a flip book. Oh, good lord. Yeah, and then he just vanished.
I was 4 when Milton disappeared.
This family has had the worst luck.
Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors.
Oh, wow. That's pretty awesome. Get that down. I agree to that. What's down here? What's the magic door? I know there's probably nothing there. I do want to see what's on the other side.
Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out.
Turn this way. I'm pretty sure it's nothing, but I still want to check. I think there's the old house. There is so much win in this story. It's just so incredible.
Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Louis blamed himself. After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery.
Oh, wow. Let's see what we can figure out. So
Louis's room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on.
Oh, video games. I'll look around before I get to the part that's actually going to be his. Oh, no, that's his story. Alright, let's go back to the video game then.
Louis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
That leads out and onward. So let's go see what happened here.
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Louis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Louis first noticed the monotony of his daily life. He kept working at the cannery. But he withdrew part of himself.
I am not super excited about where this is going.
In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to Wander. I asked him to describe it.
Oh, this is tough.
He said he started small. Imagining a labyrinth. He'd feel his way about. Then something moved. Bats. And toads. And things that have not names. He knew it was all in his head. But he took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself. But he found something more. I worried about him then. Daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused. Like a whole new Lewis.
Oh, God. Okay, hang on. Oh, man, his hand is so going into that thing, isn't it?
So I let him go on. I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first. He told me he'd made a new friend. On the edge of a city he named Lewis Topia. He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians. And songs for them to play. He talked about starting a band.
No. This is going to go badly.
And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever.
Oh, this is so bad.
Then one day it struck him that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination.
This kid needs a
So he
D&D
could do
group.
whatever he wished.
Oh, no.
He held an election for mayor. And he won. They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him.
Oh, Lord.
He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville.
Oh, God.
St. Louis. He started drifting away from our reality. Minneapolis, until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery. Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Louis kept sailing on. In Louisburg, he heard rumors of a...
Now let's go. Handsome Queen.
handsome queen.
Well, that is a pretty effect, I'm going to say that.
The queen was on her own quest for...
I'm going to do as happy a story as I can here.
radiant rainbows.
Oh, didn't mean to knock that over. They were making this harder to
the
do.
sound of her.
I'm going to go silver harp. Electric sitar just sounds
Silver
weird.
harp. His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound.
Oh.
He knew the world was all in his imagination.
I don't want this to
He was so
happen.
proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king.
Oh, God.
For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming.
Oh, man, I hate this. Like, this is so uneasy.
And then it struck him that the real Louis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace. My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him.
No, it's very easy to argue with him. You're playing with very sharp things there, son. Okay. I feel better, but I know something horrible is about to happen. No, that's not going to go well.
He began to forget the world we know. I think it pained him to remember Louis, the cannery worker. He began to despise the man with a royal contempt. I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions.
Yeah, it's pretty much on rails now, folks. This looks great. God, what's at the end of this conveyor belt?
Who'd insisted on advising him.
I kind of don't want to know.
His queen waited, holding his crown.
That's a guillotine. That's not good.
There was only one thing left to do.
It's the hard part about a story in which you realize everybody dies. Yeah, this isn't going well.
Bend down his head. And the rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
God, that was uncomfortable. Hell.
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
Let's see. Sven, Edie, Sanjay, Don. So we have 4 stories left. Assuming that we're going to do everybody in the book.
He was so proud of being Indian. I think for him, it was a way to be something other than just a Finch.
Also, real quick, I didn't mention this last time. All the doors I have to open. I have to click the button and make the motions to open them, and I think that's just an amazing little storytelling thing. No, damn it. Little storytelling thing that happens where you have to do...
On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder. I wish we'd stayed. But I understand why we left. My mom ended up leaving everything behind.
Packing peanuts. That's another picture. That picture exists in the house, I think. So many things where there's multiple copies of things. Oh, good lord, a water filter. Oh, they put so much work into making this place look real and lived in. It's amazing.
What happened that night had been coming for a long time. Maybe it should have come sooner. But it had to end one way or another. All that's left now is to tell you about that last night.
Did I miss some rooms? I must have missed some rooms.
That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
Oh, good lord. I mean, of course, Edie wouldn't leave. That's not what
the
she
power
did.
had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance. Or that Edie had a key to it.
I didn't know there was a... Interesting. I didn't know there was a thing here.
That thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning. Okay?
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out.
Oh, man. Oh, they can reach the house.
It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life. But I never thought I'd go back to it. When the fog rolled in, I lost my way.
Oh, no.
I got turned around.
Oh, I didn't do that.
I started seeing things.
Rachel? No. Sorry, wrong game. Wrong gender. Well, I know she makes it through.
Things I'd forgotten had ever existed. But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me.
Pieces of the house.
Or maybe I came back to them. Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it! Let go! I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car and I never saw Great-Grandma Edie again. The next morning, the van came to pick her up, but she was already gone. After that, we moved around a lot.
That's sad.
We both tried to make the best of it.
Yep, done this.
A few years went by.
Still do that. God, even when I'm driving.
My mom didn't like to talk about it. But she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly.
Oh, man.
She got better for a while, and then she didn't. And then I was alone. The last Finch left alive.
Save one.
Until I found out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes.
Oh, man.
And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you.
Okay.
But now I hope you'll never see it.
You've written it down.
I just want to meet you. And tell you all these stories myself. But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way.
Oh, God.
This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
Well, that's just wrong. I'm almost a year to the date of this having been the thing. It just kept getting more and more harrowing and awful and awesome at the same time. Oh my God. I can't help feel that I missed a couple stories, which I'm kind of disappointed in. I didn't see Sanjay. You know, a couple of the others. Sven, I think, was the other one. Oh, and I got an achievement. The end of everything. Again, oh God, again, the wonder and amazing just world building they built into this game. Not even really a game, just a story here is incredible. Every piece of it, everything that builds in and just rolled through. How uncomfortable Lewis's story made me the whole time. You know, and the uncertainty. We're never going to know what happened to Milton. We're never going to know what happened to Barbara. They're just gone. That happens sometimes. And it sucks. You know, you just can't do anything about it. And now we work our way back down the house. Gust on everybody had their own light switches. Jeez. Every piece of this is this amazing, well-built, just beautiful, incredible story. I don't even know what to think of it or what to do with it. And God, the props for coming up with a different way to tell every story. Like each and every piece was a different thing for a different person. And just some of the gut-wrenching in this. Like you knew, oh, you just knew he was going to get hit by a train. And it's like, dude, you're on train tracks. You're going to get, yeah, damn it. And I really appreciate these credits. These are actually amazing. Oh, nice. Playtesters are all book titles. Scarred for Life 2. Oh, nice. Yeah, who did I miss? So we got Edie at the end. Okay. Oh, Dawn. Okay, alright, so these are the people coming. Alright, so Sanjay and Sven, we were going to get Edie, and Dawn. We were the one. Okay, so I did get everybody. I just... select Edith to play from the beginning. I think not. I think I'm going to stop here. Oh, God. If nothing else, for Lewis's story, I think I'm going to need a break. I know this is a short night, guys. I'm really sorry about that. I didn't know how much was left in the game. I might have tried to power through after Gregory last night if I'd realized we were this close. But anyway, thanks everybody for joining me. I know this has been sort of a depressing story, but God, it was so well told. I hope you guys had a good time. Thank you for joining me. And I'll see you all next time. Go hug a loved one. It's too late for me to do that tonight, but I'll definitely do it tomorrow. You do it too.